It is no joke to say the last couple weeks have been pretty exciting when it comes to anime news, and I'm here to give everybody a full update on everything they should be looking out for. Where there be some exciting news surrounding the big shonens of today, including Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, as well as getting some more probably sadder news when it comes to the continuous war against AniTubers. But not just that, but a whole lot more, so definitely stay tuned as we jump into it. Starting things off, let's start with a little bit of ecchi. For those that are fans of Ikitosen, they're obviously looking forward to Shin Ikitosen that's supposed to come in the spring anime season, but we're gonna get a little bit of a sample come March 27th. We're gonna get the first episode early. It's going to be airing on ATX. So that means that it's probably gonna be a little more ecchi than usual. I'm currently excited for it because it's kind of a staple in the action ecchi genre, and it's a series that I think is kind of sorely missing in the realm of anime lately. So don't judge me, but I'm excited for it. Jumping forward, we have Eden Zero. Yes, for all those fans of the anime adaptation of the series, it will be getting a second season. They have confirmed this. We don't have an actual date for it yet, but definitely exciting for fans of that. I haven't really jumped in it quite yet. I kind of want to finish Fairy Tail before I do that, just because I'm kind of afraid of some references being there. But either way, it's definitely a series I'm excited to jump into when I eventually get there, which I'll probably never because I'm slacking on that. For those that know me, I love my originals, and I do love Wit Studio. And so when I heard that Wit Studio has a new original series coming up, I was pretty excited for it. And I have to say, based on the name, the character designs, and the first trailer, it's already got me. It's already got me. And yes, this is Onipan. And not only that, it was announced that they were going to be doing an original series called Onipan, but they already have it set for April. So this will be a spring show. So it's like an announcement, and boom, it's here. They have come out and announced that the director Masahiko Ota will be working on the series, so that's definitely exciting for it. It is supposed to be a story of love, friendship, and yes, Pantsu. Now, not the Pantsu that you might think, the little V-shaped Pantsu. We're talking about like big, puffy, short Pantsus. But essentially, it follows these three girls who transfer to Tokyo Middle School, where they strive to improve misconstrued images of Oni using key item with hidden powers. And yes, can you guess what that is? Yes, it's the Oni Underpants or Onipan. Additionally, for those that don't know who director Ota is, he's worked on series such as Yuri Yuri, Minami K, and Himoto Maru-chan, so definitely a solid director for the series, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully this will end up being Wit Studios' version of something like Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid is to Kyoto Animation, where it's, yes, more simple comedy, but very colorful, and probably have some really insane action pieces kind of mixed in there, because I don't think Wit Studio is going to take it easy for that whole entire season. Moving on, we have some Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. So most people probably already know this, but yes, for the finale, episode 11, which will be airing this Sunday, they will be having a full 45-minute long episode. So it's kind of the length of 2 episodes, which is really fantastic for that finale. But not only that, but there is a rumor that's going around. I haven't been able to find a source on it, so keep that in mind. But I am kind of excited about it, and that's the fact that according to this leak, on February 20th, they will be having some sort of announcement surrounding the next installment of the anime of Demon Slayer. So not too much of a shock there. I kind of already settled into the idea that this possibly will get a full adaptation from Ufotable, but still, it's good to know that confirmation is there. Now, a lot of people are kind of speculating this will probably be a 3rd season and not a movie just based on how many chapters the next arc is, but it could be a trilogy of movies, who knows. For our next bit of news, we have an announcement for another adaptation of a light novel. This is for A Record of the Strongest Diviner, or Onmyoji. Reincarnation to Another World is getting an anime adaptation. Again, this is a light novel series. The Japanese title is Saikyo Onmyoji no Isekai Tenseki. Now, we don't have a word on a format for this adaptation, but the assumption there is it's going to be a TV series. I doubt it's going to be a movie. Most new stuff starts out as OVAs or TV series. They don't just jump into movies. But the novel centers around Haruyoshi, who is a strongest Onmyoji or diviner in his world. He's betrayed by his friend, and on the verge of death, he wishes to be happy in his next life. He then attempts a secret reincarnation spell. This spell is a success, and he's reincarnated, but somehow in another world. He is reborn into a distinguished family of wizards, but is judged to have no magical ability. He soon realizes, however, that the magic in this world is nothing compared to his old Onmyo arts, and he's declared that he doesn't need magic. He thus begins his easy life in another world with his Onmyo arts and multitude of yokai creatures to follow him. Now, this is really interesting because it's not necessarily an isekai like we typically see. It's not a modern Japan person being transported into another world that's fantasy. This is a fantasy to fantasy setting, kind of reincarnation or isekai. But the interesting thing here is that we don't really get many yokai stories in isekai. And that's the thing that has me intrigued. At some point, I got really into yokai-ish stories, like Natsume's Book of Friend. Technically, Mushishi was kind of in that vein, but we had like a slew of yokais at some point, and I think at some point we got kind of burnt out on them. So it's interesting to see an isekai yokai type story. So I'm really interested to see how focused it is on that yokai aspect, but it would be a nice little like refreshing take on the isekai for sure. Jumping into our next bit, we have Jujutsu Kaisen. We have some news surrounding Jujutsu Kaisen for all those big super fans. Obviously, it kind of swept quite a bit of categories in the anime awards this year. But yes, the next installment is apparently in works. There's no real kind of idea on this, but essentially, in an interview with MBS TV president Yoichi Mushiaki, he stated that, "At this time, I'd like you to wait for us to state a concrete plan. However, I think we can provide a development that will meet expectations." So that's all but confirming that there's something coming, whether it's going to be a movie, another movie, or a TV series. So that's definitely exciting for everybody that's super fans of Jujutsu Kaisen. Definitely exciting for me. Still, I have to watch the movie, though. Another adaptation that we can look forward to is that they have actually confirmed the adaptation of a Harem in an alternate world dungeon. This was announced via a wraparound that was on the January 31st edition of the series. And it stated on this wraparound that it will be getting an anime adaptation in 2022, so it's going to be in this year. The novel series centers around a high school student, Michio. Wandering aimlessly through life and the internet, he finds himself transported from a shady website to a fantasy world. So, isekai via website, rather than Truck-kun, usually. Reborn as a strong man who can use cheat powers, he uses his powers to become an adventurer, earn money, and get the right to claim girls who have idol-level beauty to form his own harem. I've been kind of hearing a little bit about this from my brother, but it kind of sounds similar to something like Death March, where these girls are obviously slaves and he's actually kind of acquiring them. But we'll see. Definitely something that he's excited for, so we'll see if it lives up to all the hype he's been building up for the last 2 years since I think we heard that there was going to be an adaptation. Our next bit of news, Warner Brothers Japan has announced that The Bastard manga is going to be getting an anime adaptation. Now, technically a new anime adaptation. This has had a previous OVA that was done for it, but apparently they're going to do it again. It's going to be on Netflix worldwide in 2022. It's going to be animated by Leiden Films, and the director behind Goblin Slayer will be directing it, which is Takaharu Ozaki. So I'm kind of mixed on the original OVA. I don't really remember much about it. I just remember a lot of people that liked Berserk, which was, yes, released later, kind of went back and checked that out because one of the characters looked a lot like Guts. So keep that in mind. But definitely interested to see it. It looks like more of a hyper fantasy type show. So definitely something a lot of people will be excited for. For some license news to throw in here, we have 7 Seas has licensed Kimono Jaihin, Our Torsos Align, and My Cute Little Kitten manga. Cute Little Kitten manga looks like a really cute story about Yuri love, and I definitely recommend Kimono Jaihin. That's definitely a series I might end up checking out the manga for because I did actually like the anime adaptation for it. It looked like it was actually doing some really interesting things with the main character, even though it fits more in the dark realm of the main characters. Definitely interested in it, though. For our next bit, we have Odd Taxi. The official website has released a trailer for the movie that will be coming on April 1st. I'm still super excited for this movie, but I think the interesting thing about this trailer is, although it was just kind of showing mostly clips of the TV series that we've already seen, there's one quote at the very end of it that I guess people that have actually watched the TV series are going to understand the importance of it. So if you're trying to go into it completely blind, you can skip forward about 10 seconds. But yes, the quote is, "You don't remember me, do you?" So it's got me. It's got me. I'm definitely excited for it. Cannot wait for it. But yeah. For fans of One Piece, I know you're super excited about this, and I want to make sure that nobody misses out on this. But yes, Netflix Geeked Twitter account has confirmed that the production for the One Piece live action has officially begun. Definitely looking forward to that. I don't know if it's totally a joke. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's super excited for it, and all the power to you, but I think after somehow messing up Cowboy Bebop, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm never going to expect anything to come out of Netflix for live actions, but we'll see. We'll see. Running away from this topic, we have Planet With, the manga, is set to end with the 8th volume. This was announced in the 7th compilation book. The 8th is planned to be longer than usual. The mangaka said that there's like a little bit more in that story than usual, so it's going to be a little bit bigger than usual. And also stated there's going to be some original stories for the ending planned for it. So, which makes me kind of believe that this was a manga that wasn't completed and they adapted it beyond the manga, because I really enjoyed the anime a lot. So I'm kind of interested to check out The Planet with manga, because I'm hoping there'll be some more information in there. I've heard that there's some extra context to give into certain story beats that flesh it out a little bit more. And so, since I love the anime so much, I'll probably definitely jump into the manga at some point. I'm definitely excited for that. Moving on to more legal and depressing stuff. Kodansha, Shueisha, Shogakukan, and Kadokawa have all filed plan to lawsuit against Cloudflare. For those who don't know what Cloudflare is, it's basically a proxy, something that websites can put before their actual servers so that if there's any DDoS attacks or something, they have to go to Cloudflare first, and Cloudflare can kind of figure out when there's something that's not going quite right and kind of block content. I personally use Cloudflare. This was an easy way to get a secured website and everything set up. And yes, it does protect against some really bad attempts at the website. Well, it seems like this lawsuit alleges that Cloudflare is essentially distributing data that is pirated, like manga and light novels, from pirated sources. But I think the crux of this lawsuit's really more centered around the fact that they believe that Cloudflare, which in by design, is protecting the location and the identity of these servers that are distributing illegal material. And you can make an argument that since people have to contact Cloudflare before they're sent to the website, they're essentially distributing this illegal content. Which, yes, again, technically Cloudflare's one of their goals is to protect the identity of people that use their service. And so if anything is illegally distributed, that means that these copyright holders can't figure out who these people are to stop them. So they're essentially just trying to, I guess, remove that boundary that they're facing currently. Either way, it's a very difficult discussion here because we have basically privacy controls versus legalities. And I think that this is going to be something that's going to come from this whole situation that in the end might end up turning Cloudflare having to force to allow them, maybe through legal action, to get the identity of people that they have behind their services. It's kind of that continued ongoing battle that a lot of these publishers in Japan are just really facing when it comes to the theft of their properties. And finally, our last bit of news for this episode, we have, yes, the war against AniTubers and anime content creators on YouTube is continuing. Obviously, we had this whole situation with Totally Not Mark. I made a whole video on that. I even made a follow-up video on the recent findings of Totally Not Mark, YouTube, and their conversations they had with Toei regarding the 150 videos that he had claimed and the eventual locking out of regions that he ended up having. But again, sadly, it's not over yet. And I knew it wasn't over yet because, again, nothing really changed. Toei got maybe told that they probably shouldn't do this, but the systems in play on YouTube have not changed. So, well, yes, this news bit is to inform you on something else that has happened, but also to really give a shout out to people to please support a movement to try to get YouTube to change their policies a little bit. Essentially, what recently happened is that a YouTuber named Suede Blade had posted up a video basically saying, my channel's done. I have no actions that I can take to prevent my channel from going down. What happened is, instead of the typical thing where somebody creates content on YouTube and then the copyright holder sends a copyright claim onto a video and then they're able to, counter it or say, no, it's fair use, I'm not going to go by this, and there's like that little back and forth through YouTube systems. Essentially, ShowPro, which for those who don't know is basically the owner of Pokemon, essentially what they did is they created an unbeatable claim. And the scary thing about this is it's something that all the other companies can start doing to essentially shut down all anime content creators. ShowPro created a small claims in a Japanese court and then sent that to YouTube. And so knowing that it's now in legal action, YouTube completely lifted their hands on it. They're done. They're not going to touch it anymore. It's now a legal matter, and now YouTube does not want anything to do with it. And the only way for a content creator to basically fight this is they would have to hire somebody in Japan to go to the court systems in Japan and either pay the fine or fight it in court there, which, as we know, is not going to work because they don't recognize fair use there. And the sad thing is that even if you fight it, the strike remains because you're paying a fine for breaking their laws, and YouTube has... They're not going to do anything about it. It's going to stay there. The strike remains and your channel is down. And that's essentially what happened to this guy. He got 3 of these his channel's done. So everybody that's big fans of Gigguk, everybody that's big fans of Mother's Basement, all these anime content creators, and including myself, this is kind of the last straw. If as soon as other companies get word on ShowPro doing this and it working, they're all going to do this. Toei, for sure, for sure will do this. Things are changing going forward. And granted, for me, I haven't really been using footage. I've been using screenshots. Even those are probably liable for it. It's just a little harder for them to find. But definitely any content creator that's using footage, I don't doubt that this is going to be the going forward norm, and all those are going to be going down. So yeah, definitely, like I said, please support some sort of movement. Tweet at YouTube, Team YouTube, tell them there's a hashtag out there. It's hashtag geo-blocking for all, which is definitely something that we need. Content creators need the ability to choose what regions their videos go into. We're following laws in our regions, but we can't really follow laws in all regions. And the whole issue with this whole situation is that Japan doesn't recognize fair use. And they claim this stuff worldwide, which they shouldn't be able to. And to protect ourselves, we need to be able to block the content going there. Unfortunately. But at any rate, that's all the news. I hope you guys enjoyed this run through of everything. Definitely let me know down in the comments down below what's you're most excited about. Any of this news really catch your fancy? What do you think about the whole war against AniTubers and all that kind of stuff? Definitely love hearing from you guys. As always, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps us out. Hit that like button down below. Support us through Patreon or through our tips link in the description below. Definitely appreciate everybody that does, and y'all take care.